Ahead on this edition of SuTV News, student government members and students team up to try and stop cuts to higher education funds.
An in-studio guest joins us to break down the recent flood outlooks put out by the National Weather Service.
And in sports, Bison basketball looks to extend their season at the Summit League tournament.
Students' wallets may be getting more use come next fall. Hello everyone and thanks for joining us. I'm Andrew Young.
And I'm Dave Vane. North Dakota college tuition could be increasing by more than 4% due to the Higher Education 1003 that was recently passed.
Students will be forced to pay more because of the $6.6 million cut in tuition assistance and $10 million in equity funding.
Other reasons is that we put it in the middle of the moral union so students can hear what their student leaders are doing for them. And we will continue to fight for House Bill 1003 and the students of NDSU until the last day of the legislature.
Student government held a press conference and an informational meeting to address any concerns the students had. Students are also called to email their legislators regarding concerns about the funding cuts. The bill will not only increase tuition, but also cut from the maintenance and upkeep of the buildings. Improvement and expansion in college programs would decrease, leading students to potentially fall behind compared to other in-state colleges.
As student body president, my whole goal this year is to educate the students about what is actually going on in Bismarck. What level of support are you actually receiving from the state? And how does that compare to the other institutions and other institutions similar to ours across the region?
If you have any questions or concerns, stop by the student government office in the Union for more information.
In other news, the Center for Child Development is closing its doors. Child care services will be offered through June 17th, and the center will close June 30th. Dean of the College of Human Development and Education, Virginia Clark Johnson, says this is an unfortunate reality, but all expenses not core and central to the university's academic mission have to be examined and scrutinized for appropriateness. We have no choice but to make these cuts. 38 children ages 6 months to 5 years are currently cared for at the center.
One of the premier documentary producers in the country recently visited NDSU campus. Prairie Public Television's Bob Dambach was a guest of comm instructor Rich Lodwick's broadcast production class. SuTV talked with Bob about producing award-winning documentaries.
That has allowed us to do the old type of...
As accomplished as Bob Dambach is at producing award-winning documentaries, he attributes his success to a commitment to the basics of television journalism and a broad knowledge of the liberal arts.
You are required to really, on a spur of the moment, find out so much about so many different things. And if you have a knowledge base in English, in psychology, in sociology, in history, in any of the liberal arts, you're going to be one step ahead. You're going to know what that interview subject is talking about, or at least have a connection to it.
Many of Bob's national awards were the result of collaborating with NDSU's Michael Miller on the PBS Germans from Russia series.
When I started working with Bob Dambach, he didn't know anything about what it was the Germans from Russia and all that, and the whole history. So I think he's gained a huge appreciation of the heritage and culture of these people, and I think he's become very passionate with it.
Bob's acclaim as one of the top documentary producers in the country has granted him offers from larger markets, yet he continues to stay in North Dakota.
When I was in graduate school at the University of Iowa, if I could have written a scenario, it would have been this scenario, that I would be able to be in a place where there's a lot of interesting stories and be able to make documentaries.
Dambach has recently worked with Prairie Public staff to win 2 Upper Midwest Regional Emmys for Best Cultural and Best Historical Documentary.
You know, what a great way for NDSU students to learn by hearing from actual professionals in the field, coming to the classroom and sharing their experiences.
And Prairie Public TV is really lucky to have Bob.
That is great, great to hear. Well, still ahead on SuTV News, Rob Kupek, WDAY meteorologist, breaks down what a probabilistic flood outlook for our area means. Stay with us.
Call 231-NDSU. Cutters. Uh-oh.
What are we gonna do now?
Give me the phone. Hello, Jimmy John's. Thank God you made it. I was so hungry, I thought I was gonna die.
Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys.
Nice work, Johnson.
Catch what's new on the NDSU campus. See what the students are up to. Check on the latest from Bison Athletics. Catch it here, only on Cable 1, SuTV News.
SuTV News is sponsored in part by Stop and Go. Stop and Go. We're always there. Welcome back to SuTV News. Joining now is WDAY meteorologist Rob Kupek, here to break down what goes on in the making of flood outlooks we received from the National Weather Service. Thanks for joining us, Rob. Appreciate it.
Glad to be here tonight.
So, Rob, we heard that, or we know actually, that the probabilistic forecast was issued for the Fargo-Moorhead area. Now, can you tell us exactly what does that mean?
Well, what they do first is a probabilistic forecast is just the range they think the river will go to before it starts to melt. And so we've got a 90% chance of getting to about 36 feet, and on the high end, it goes down to 10% or 30% chance of about 42 feet, and then even goes a little bit higher than that. They won't issue the real forecast until the melting starts, and then they'll try to put out a forecast where they try to get that exact level the river's going to come up to.
So what I'm interested in hearing then, from hearing that, is what goes into preparing each outlook? Is it difficult? What constitutes it really?
It is difficult because you're always, in anything in weather, you're always craving more data. And you only have a finite number of data points. So what the Weather Service will do is when they look at it, they'll look at how much snow they have, particularly in the southern end of the basin because the Red River flows north. They run airplanes and they'll go and measure with infrared cameras how much snow, how much water is in that snow to get a good range of what that is. Then they look at stream flows, they'll look at how much snow is out on the fields, how much is in the ditches, and try to get a feel for where they think the river's going to go.
Sure, sure.
Now, the outlook released on March 3rd, what are the chances we could actually break the 2009 crest?
Well, they're giving it about a 30% chance of getting up above that 2009 crest. So that's a pretty high chance in terms of a probabilistic forecast. I mean, really, I think that for that to happen, some things will have to go wrong for us. Probably a heavy rain would be involved with us getting to that level.
So what's your opinion on it, though? We know the National Weather Service says 30%. But what about Rob?
You know, I think, you know, they had one that came out early that I thought they were probably a little low, but I think this forecast is pretty right on. From everything that I've been seeing, I've taken several trips down into the southern end of the valley. There's a lot of snow down there, and there's a lot of water in that snow. So.
And I know a lot of people have a difficulty understanding the difference between snow and rain and how much it affects flooding. Can you talk about that a little bit, Rob?
Yeah, well, snow, you know, not all snow is created equal. Like we had that President's Day storm, we had 7 inches of the driest, fluffiest snow I've ever seen in my life. But it's that wet, heavy snow that the more water it contains, the more it will contribute to flooding. The problem with the rain really is the rain really speeds up the melt of the snow, and that's where you're going to get into a lot of trouble is when you release a lot of that water quickly.
Well, how difficult it really is it for a meteorologist to predict or to make a decision on how much snow or rain we're really going to have in the first place?
You know, predicting the amount of snow is about the hardest part of our job because there's a whole, it's the temperature it's at, if it's If it's dry, the snow will be fluffier, and you might think, even the President's Day storm, I thought we were going to get about an inch of snow, and that's about what we had with the water equivalent, but just the way the crystals formed, the snow just piled up. So that's really our hardest part of our job, is trying to figure that out. So it goes into crystal formation, the temperature, trying to figure out how much water, moisture there is available to work with to make that snow.
So Rob, before we go here, we have one last question for you. If you could create this scenario for us, what is the perfect scenario for us to have a safe spring? What needs to happen?
There's two real scenarios I think we're looking at. The first one would be the slow melt scenario, where you get days where it maybe goes up into the 40s, and then at night it goes below freezing, so the water kind of pulses into the river. The other scenario would be a week of really warm weather, up into the 50s, and everything gets going, flowing into the river, and then we go back below freezing, and that slows up. And what that would do is really split the crest in two. So we'd have one and then a second crest, and really you're taking that crest and splitting it in two, and hopefully keeping the flood down to a manageable level.
Well, perfect. Well, thanks for joining us this evening. We appreciate it, Rob.
Okay, my pleasure.
Appreciate it. Coming up next on SuTV News, students are finalizing plans, and spring break is near. Stay with us.
Imagine the impact of a place where exploration leads to answers that touch everyone, where resources and resourcefulness, teamwork and tenacity combine to open new frontiers, where dreams take the lead and show you tomorrow.
Bison Strong. For tickets, call 231-NDSU.
Job search experts claim proper apparel is critical for favorable first impressions. This week, the NDSU community may donate professional attire to disadvantaged women at the Memorial Union during the Volunteer Network's Dress for Success clothing drive. Dress for Success is an international organization that supplies professional wardrobes to women who are qualified for employment but cannot afford to dress for it.
I can see how it helps other women, and so I like it when other students can see that too, and that they can come in and bring their donations, and they don't just see this contact table and walk past it. They see it and really see that need.
Women are given suits for an interview and eventual employment, including accessories. Donations are also accepted at their boutique in Hawley, Minnesota, Jenny Craig in Fargo, and the Dress Barn in West Fargo.
Well, NDSU students are getting the chance to make a difference across the country over spring break. 120 of them will be embarking on the Pay It Forward tour through Students Today, Leaders Forever. They will have the chance to participate in projects ranging from outdoor cleanup tasks to working at different schools. 3 buses will depart from the Union tomorrow at 9 o'clock a.m., noon, and 12:30 p.m.
Since spring break is starting this coming weekend, SuTV News went out on campus to find out what else students are doing over spring break.
I'm going to go home, relax, maybe check out a couple new movies, and just have some fun. For spring break, I'm going to be heading home, spending time with the family and whatnot. Just doing the usual, getting back together with hometown friends and reuniting, doing a little drinking now that I'm 21, and just having a good social time.
I'm going to Daytona Beach, Florida for spring break.
What are you going to do there?
Go to the beach and hang out and swim with my friends.
And I'm going back home to Dickinson, North Dakota, and not doing anything.
I want to go up to Lucin with a couple buddies, go skiing for a couple days.
I'm just staying in Fargo, catching up on homework and going wedding dress shopping with my sister.
For spring break, I'm a telemarketer for Discover Card, and I'm going to be working there most of spring break, and then I'm going back home for a couple days. So, exciting, yeah.
Well, I'm going to head down to Illinois and visit my girlfriend, probably do a little farming with her dad, and just check things out, keep it real.
All right, spring break coming up, Dave. As a student, as both students, excited for spring break.
Yeah.
Very excited.
I'm just going to catch up on my beauty sleep, I think. How about you?
I'm actually going to head out to New York, see a couple buddies. Got to take advantage of that
Lucky.
spring break time, right?
I would, yeah, if I could.
All right,
Sure.
well, stick with us. Coming up next in SuTV Sports, we see the Summit League. Stick with us.
And coming up next, highlights from the 2011 Summit League Tournament in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's next. SuTV Sports, coming right back.
Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich. Delivery guys.
Imagine the impact of a place where exploration leads to answers that touch everyone. Where resources and resourcefulness, teamwork and tenacity combine to open new frontiers. Where dreams take the lead and show you tomorrow.
SuTV Sports is sponsored in part by Scheels. Ready for your next big adventure? Welcome to Scheels, the world's largest selection of sports, sportswear, and footwear.
Welcome back. For the fourth consecutive year, the Bison football team has a new defensive backs coach. Chris Kleiman, former defensive coordinator at Northern Iowa, will take over the role. Kleiman spent 9 years at Northern Iowa as the defensive coordinator and secondary coach. In 2009, Kleiman led the Panthers to the best overall defense in the Missouri Valley Conference.
The biggest thing is an opportunity to grow as a football coach, and the opportunity professionally for me to take on a new challenge. And that's what my family and I decided to do, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be a Bison and to get started and get working with the great coaches we have back here and the great athletes we have.
The Bison will open up spring practice on April 4th, all leading up to the annual Green and Gold game, April 30th. Big-time challenges for both the Bison men's and women's basketball teams at the Summit League tournament. The men took on the second-seeded Oral Roberts Golden Eagles, while the women took on third-seeded South Dakota State. Now to Sioux Falls Arena in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Late in the first half, Mike Felt hits a nice layup to cut the Bison's deficit to 2. They go into the half trailing 36-32. Early in the second half, Dominic Morris hits the jumper. He led the Eagles with 18 points. Later on in the second half, Mike Tweet hits a tough three-pointer. He chipped in 14 points for the Bison and cuts the deficit to 1. With 13:24 left, Trayvon Wright hits a layup as he led the Bison with 19 points and right there ties the game at 46. With 8:16 left, Dominic Morris hits the tough runner to give ORU the lead, and they hang on for the 72-65 victory.
Going to do nothing but get better. And that's on me to do it. It's on them to do it. And we'll work together and get it done. It's the way championships are built. I've seen it happen right here at North Dakota State. It's going to happen again.
Now to the women's side of things as the women take on the Jackrabbits close to home. Early in the first half, Katie Burkle finds Janae Burrich for the layup as she led the Bison with 18 points. Soon after, Katie Burkle hits a tough layup of her own as she drives in and gets 2 points for herself. With 12:25 left, Kristen Rotert drives, takes the shot, gets the layup, puts up another shot, and hits 2 points off of her own rebound, cutting the Bison lead to 2. Jenny Sonneborg hits a turnaround jumper here to give the Jackrabbits a 7-point lead, and they hold on to win 62-51.
Every single one of our kids, from the first time we had them at the start of this year to where we're at now, we've simply built tons of character, and we're proud of our kids. Certainly not the year that our kids came into when you look at the wins and the losses and the finishes and those type of things. But along with a lot of things that we had to deal with, we had to figure out how to do that.
The Bison women finished the season 13-16, while the Bison men finished at 14-15. Both teams lose 2 seniors going into next season. The women's track and field team is sending 2 of its members to the NCAA Division I Indoor Track and Field Championship. Whitney Carlson and Leslie Brost are heading to College Station, Texas for the climax to the indoor season. Carlson will compete in the long jump and the pentathlon, while Brost will be competing in the pole vault. It'll be the 3rd trip to the championships for Brost, who is a junior. She had her best showing as a freshman when she placed 11th. Carlson, a senior, is making her debut at the championships and is currently ranked 9th in the nation in the pentathlon.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've never been to the indoor national championships, so I think it's going to be a different world, definitely, but I'm so excited to do it. There's going to be two of us down there wearing green and gold, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I do. I feel like I'm at a good place in my vault right now where, you know, it's always a process, but kind of peaking at the right time during the season. It's always really exciting to take a group from NDSU down and be right in the mix with SEC, you know, Big 12, Pac-10 schools, and just be right there at the same level as those athletes.
Bison Wrestling is also sending 2 of its own to the NCAA championships. 125-pound sophomore Trent Sprinkle and 157-pound senior Vince Salmonen will travel to Philadelphia to wrestle for a national title. Salmonen qualified for the championships by winning the NCAA West Regional last weekend, and Sprinkle earned an at-large bid.
I mean, 30 people, 33 people from each weight go every year. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but thinking of all the wrestlers in the nation, but at the same time, you know, you want to win.
Well, yeah, there's hype to it, but, you know, if you go out and let the hype get to you, then you're not going to wrestle the way you should. I'm just going to take it like any other match and just go out and do what I do and go out and win.
Salmonen is making his 2nd straight appearance at the championships, and Sprinkle is making his 1st. They will hit the mat for the championships starting March 17th.
Well, Jake, it sounds like NDSU women's track and field and men's wrestling has some exciting events coming up, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting spring break for them as they head to warmer climates for nationals.
No kidding, all right.
Good luck to them. Well, when we return, Fargo has become a place to get away from the recession. We'll have this and more.
Technology has given birth to many innovative products in order to improve efficiency and product quality, but also to have fun. Today we'd like to show you an amazing new piece of technology, the Xbox Kinect by Microsoft. It's capable of gauging distance and motion, digitally map a 3D space, and even visually recognize players and accepting voice commands, doing it all in real time. So let's talk tech. Kinect is totally different from all other gaming devices that have been launched in the past few years without any gizmos or gadgets to hold. When playing with Kinect, you are the controller. Using revolutionary Prime Sense technology, Kinect creates a depth image of the players with incredible accuracy, capable of sensing and tracking the entire human body without any special hardware. The Kinect sensors are able to track at least 6 people simultaneously, including 2 active players. Just have your friend jump in, and Kinect automatically adds another player. In addition to its stunning motion technology, Kinect also features a voice recognition system. The multi-array microphone setup can recognize spoken words and commands. Combining this with Kinect's motion tracking capabilities gives you nearly complete hands-free control of your Xbox. So get off the couch, ditch the cumbersome controls, and experience the magic of Kinect.
Welcome back. Men's Journal has recently selected Fargo as the best place to forget the recession. Fargo's low taxes and unemployment budget surplus and revitalized downtown has allowed the city to master the art of living well. Other cities making the list of 18 towns were Minneapolis, Des Moines, Iowa, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Well, I have to say, guys, no matter how much they say this is Fargo's the place to be right now, I think all the students on the NDSU campus are ready to head off for a week with spring break here.
I'm very excited to head out for Belize for 9 days of beaches and sun.
Belize?
Sounds like a pretty good break to me, huh?
Oh, I'm excited.
Isn't that in South America somewhere?
Central.
Central America?
Central America.
How do you rate?
How do I rate? It was about $1,400.
Okay, all right.
All right, well, thanks for joining us this week. Don't forget to pick up your copy of The Spectrum, and be sure to check us out on our website at ndsubin.com. We leave you with the sights and sounds of NDSU's University Chorus rehearsal. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome job last night. I mean, was that not just a wholly satisfying experience? Yeah, that G flat, don't make sure you're aware of that one. It's going to add a little bit of color to that. Good for you. Good for you.